so people are already informed of the time. So my name is Lia Shortino. I am the founder of director of SEA-Junction, and SEA-Junction is the place that you see. We are a public venue doing all kinds of events related to Southeast Asia. We have at the moment this beautiful exhibition of an Indonesian painter, Erika, who is sitting also in our middle, so you can also watch that after the movie. But today we are focusing on migrant worker, particularly with a movie on migrant worker from the Philippines in Hong Kong. But of course, we are interested in the general theme of migration, which is one of the main concerns of SEA-Junction, also because it's very relevant to the region. So without further ado, I am again very happy to work with Sarah, who is also from Italy like myself. There are not too many of us around, but we do try our best to make things work. Please, Sarah.
Thank you, Leah, and thank you to the SEA-Junction. Thank you for being here to watch this movie. And this is part of a conference that my project is organizing these days. Our project is working on protecting the rights of migrant workers in the region and combating human trafficking. So it's a regional project, and we are organizing a 3 days online conference. Tomorrow is the last day. And this is a side event that we were so lucky to be able to organize, thanks to SEA-Junction, and especially thanks to Stefanos, the film director of the We Don't Dance for Nothing, that is with us today. Thanks. And I just want to say that the film is 80 minutes. After it, I will stay here, and I hope you can stay a few minutes more. We have Stefanos with us, and also Punsap from HomeNet, and Nawin from the Remedy Project, two experts on the rights and struggles of migrant domestic workers in the region. So we'll have time to take your questions and to discuss a little more also on domestic workers in Thailand and in Hong Kong. So I would like to invite Stefanos to introduce the movie before we start watching it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stefanos. Thank you, Sarah, and everyone, SEA-Junction, E2A. It's really rare that we get to show our film to people who actually work in this space and might be able to change something. So it's special for us. And I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about why I made this film. I'm from New York. I moved to Hong Kong 4 or 5 years ago for work. I was directing TV commercials, but I very quickly found this community of women you'll see on screen who totally captured my inspiration right away. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sure you've all seen migrant domestic workers from Philippines, from Indonesia, from all different countries, in all different countries. But there was something about them in Hong Kong, and particularly the way that they danced, that was so special to me. I was not raised by domestic workers. Most of my friends were not. In New York, it's not such a common phenomena. So it was different and unique, and it was a story worth diving into for me. And I never thought it would take me 4 years to finish. I never thought I would see the things I saw and hear the stories I heard. But at the end of the day, I would say, maybe you share this belief that these women are role models and they're really my heroes now. And obviously I'm not directly from that community, but this is my love letter, you could say, to them. And I've learned from them. They've become my friends. I miss them dearly. I haven't been to Hong Kong in a while because of COVID. But yeah, that's our film. Another thing I'll just sort of disclaim is that the film is a unique film in that it's composed of a mixture of photographs and moving images. So the projector's not broken, the Wi-Fi is not buffering, it's all meant to be that way. And we can talk a bit more after if you're interested about why that choice was made. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming and for having me. It's really exciting. And tell me what you think. If you like it, tell me. If you don't, tell me. Let's have a conversation after. I hope you guys can stay. Thank you.
I've never told you any of this before. My memories of that room are a blur. Little flashes of the truth, faded over time. The details of living in somebody else's world have left. I'll have to recreate it all for you. Some things are barely there, but others, the body never forgets.
You cooking?
Oh, I was just making the kids' lunch for tomorrow.
Cancelled. Another protest.
Should I pack it up?
Should have checked. Where are the kids?
Piano. I can pick them up later.
No. That's my job. What's that? Why did you open that? It was supposed to be a surprise.
Sorry, ma'am. I thought it's the new pants for the kitchen.
Does it say your name on the package?
I'll repack it, ma'am. Or I will gift wrap. It's better than new.
That sound still rings so clear. But my image of her comes only in fragments. I always knew I would need to make a run for it.
Did they each have her dinner?
Of course.
But when?
I don't know. Earlier, I guess.
What does she eat? Ich! Do you have it?
She's working. Can't you see?
But I want to show her my new skate. Ich!
Come on.
咁做咩啫？覺得你爹哋媽咪好煩咩？
You guys are really just squares.
It's a shame they never told our story. We never made the news, but Sundays belonged to us. There was as many of us helpers on the streets as the protesters. After all the cooking, cleaning, and complaining, me and my girls, and thousands more, danced just so we could feel like we existed.
aalis?
Ay naku, be. Kumain ka na nga lang.
So, sabi daw ng mom niya, shorter, shorter, like a schoolboy.
Alam niyo ba si P, dati nagugupit natin ng buhok.
Oy, pero hindi ako cheap, no?
Oy, kung ako yan ha, babayaran mo ako.
Eh, sa kapal ng buhok mo, hindi ka kayanin ng suklay, no? Bully. Pero, nasa na siya ngayon?
Kinulong ata sa bahay.
Hello. Teka. Tapusin ko muna yung kwento ko. So, sabi ng mom, doon sa lalaki, pag hindi nagpagupit yung katulong ko, pagbalik ko, ako mismo ang kakalbo sa kanya.
Lo? Except hindi niya alam na mas sexy kaya siya pag maiksi yung buhok niya, di ba?
Ay, oo nga.
Mas bagay.
They were beautiful, maybe even more than I remember. But I knew they would spend the rest of their days on pause.
Eh, di ito-terminate na siya ngayon?
Hala, ngayong taon niya makakuha yung long service niya eh.
Baliw din yung among lalaki nun, di ba?
Sabi nila pwede siyang tulungan ng agency.
Bago matapos yung 2 weeks na.
Nako, good luck. Kailangan niyang bumalik ng Pinas.
Eh, pero at least mariduman lang sana yung medical staff.
Sabi nila, guaranteed siya.
Ay, kaloka.
Pero may pamilya siya, di ba?
Oo naman.
Yung little baby girl, di ba?
Oh. Uy, aalis na siya, so sumunod na tayo.
Ano ba yung salita na yun? Ferberize.
Fried rice.
Hindi, Ferberize.
Burger and fries.
Tama na.
Hindi, Ferberize.
Ano
Kapag
yun?
yung bata nagwawala, hayaan nyo lang siya, kundi lalala lang. So, dito lang tayo.
Oo nga.
Okay,
Wala
ito
susunod
lang.
sa kanya.
Sige.
Let's just stay here.
Sige. Gawin natin yan, ha?
Ito lang ah.
Good.
Saan ba tayo pupunta?
Those girls. It was all talk and no action. I learned that if you just got up and left, they would follow like sheep.
Huwag naman sana sa repa.
Marty, 6 months lang sa bagong amo. Ay, na pumunta sa Repulse.
Hindi naman.
Sarap kaya siguro ng buhay ng mga Amerikano doon.
Sarap ng kano.
Hindi yung kano, yung buhay.
Alam mo ba talaga yung tamang babaan?
Malamang hindi. Alam mo naman yan kung saan tayo dinadala. Lagi naman ganun.
Siguraduhin mong matutuwa kami dito, ha?
Grabe. Nahanap ni H to. Linggong-linggo, walang tao.
Oh my gosh.
Ayaw mo makihalo sa mga Pinay, ano?
Ay, itong matandang to, puro ka reklamo.
Para pa rin siya nakastuck sa bahay.
Smile ka naman.
Galaw-galaw din. Makakalimutan mo lahat ng problema mo. Promise.
That place was forgettable, but our dancing, I can still hit the steps with my eyes closed.
Ate, konti lang. Konting push pa. Push. Alam mo yan eh.
No thanks.
I've got this love condition, but I don't have a cure. Head over heels attention. It don't matter what I'm looking for. Got my dancing shoes. Wish I knew some moves, but I got nothing to lose. And I'm looking at you. Maybe I've got you. Maybe I don't. And maybe I'll love you. Maybe I won't. And I ain't never satisfied. Begging for more. So here we go again. Here we go. Cause I'll fall for anything, anything that moves, anything that moves in my direction. Yeah, I'll fall for anyone, anyone who grooves, anyone who grooves to my affection. Cause I want you, and you, and you, and you.
Most people dance to disappear. They move their bodies to blend into a party. It was different for us. We don't dance for nothing.
Guys, CPR! Ambulance!
Can I take one?
Oh, but these are the last two.
Oh, sorry. It's just I will be busy today. I don't have time for lunch today. You can go pick them, all right? Around the corner? Just around the corner?
Okay, ma'am.
Can you take us with a taxi to swimming today? I don't like the bus.
Oh, okay, sir. Mr. VIP, sir. I'd be happy to escort you to the bus. Your school sweater?
I lost it.
Miss Ling is going to yell at you again. And when she yells at you, guess who yells at me?
Find it then. Get it yourself. Shut up.
Hey, come on.
It's not there.
Really? It's not there? What's that? Take it. Come on, let's go.
Okay, let's take the taxi.
You think you're smart? You're taking the bus. What's wrong with you guys today?
Hello?
H, can you hear me? I need you to come home. Can you pick up chocolate cake and some wine?
Yes, sir. Give me 30 minutes.
Aren't you at the supermarket?
I'm at the wet market, sir.
Why?
The meat is most fresh here.
I've been there before. Sometimes the vegetables are unwashed. Even the corns have worms.
Because, sir, sometimes the food allowance is not enough, so I
Hey,
have
listen.
to...
Talk later. I have to go. Some good news for everybody. You guys are going to have a new friend. H. Here, let me do it.
You guys will need to be generous with your toys and your room.
Oh my god. Why?
Because there's going to be someone very little and very new to play with your toys.
What? Mom got knocked up?
佢喺邊度學翻嚟㗎？
咪講過㗎啦，國際學校，而家咪講佢成個美國佬咁。
我哋都講中文㗎。你好煩啊。
H, can you serve the cake, please?
Yes, sir.
When?
Just a few months from now.
How many?
9 total, but actually, we've known it for a few months already.
And why didn't you tell us?
They wanted to make sure your baby brother or sister was coming for sure and was good and healthy.
Yo!
Thanks, H.
I hope it's a girl.
It will actually be a surprise for all of us.
Sisters are not that great. I bet H also wants a sister.
Where will we put the baby?
In the living room with H.
We're not gonna move? Don't we need a bigger house?
我以為 BB 會同我哋一間房，
唔得，我都要瞓㗎嘛。
但係 H 係未試過照顧初生 BB 喎。
咁我哋請佢嚟做咩啊？冇嘢㗎啦，我攞張床出嚟就得㗎啦。
Pang-tatlo, sa Hong Kong.
Hala, napabuntis pa pala yung matandang yun?
Uy, pero di ba ang hirap magka-baby?
Oo.
Oh, si Bunso magiging mami na.
Ay, ang cute. Pero promise, ang rami mong matututunan.
True. At humanda ka na sa magdamagang iyakan.
Eh, kung makangawa nga ito, parang baby.
Eh di, pwede silang i-time out ng mom niya and fried rice them together.
Berber rice.
Hey! How are you, man?
Go up to the bridge. I need to clear the area so these cockroaches can destroy it again.
Oh, Don't you know that we're locked up all week and only get this one day off?
You see me getting any days off, sister? Come on, go somewhere. Don't be here.
Why don't you join us?
I don't dance, thank you.
Oh, but you're too handsome not to dance.
Hey, come on.
But we just want a strong one to join us.
Why every Sunday, same thing?
Sige na. Sandali, yung box ko. Ang bigat pala.
Tao bang laman nito?
Yung weight limit kaya sila. Unlimited weight kaya yung balikbayan boxes. Wala ka bang alam?
Sundays in Central, you only see two things. Helpers sending home their balikbayan boxes and dancing.
Alas 12 na, hindi pa tayo nag-umpisa.
Why don't you get lost? Hey, go away. Why don't you get? No, don't do that. Don't do come on. I don't dance. Come on, don't touch it.
They were teasing, but imagine if he really knew how to dance.
Si Rosa.
Hi. I'm okay. Choosy ka pa, CPR pa gusto mo. Uy, dali. Kuhanan niyo ng burger at fried rice yan. Seryoso ako. Ay, milk tea lang katapat niyan, te.
You know they'll block the train soon. They're gonna put some fire. Lots of work for me to clean.
Paano tayo makakabalik?
No, come on, go to the beach.
You're trying to gather all the helpers in one place and push us out to the sea?
No, I know you guys like to go and take your sexy photos. You have to find a boyfriend. Eh? You go to one side, find a boyfriend, and leave me alone. Eh?
OMG.
Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. This is the slogan heard around the city every day as Hong Kong enters its 14th week of protest.
Do you miss home?
No, dear.
She likes us more than home. That's why Mom always yells at her. You never tell us what happened to your real family.
It's okay. It's not important.
But don't you ever get tired of working here?
I have to be here to take care of you guys.
I don't need anybody to take care of me. I'm gonna run away. Forget this place.
Actually, you know what? Let's run. Let's make an escape. We can just open the window and go.
Can we find a place with no rules?
Somewhere we can run fast.
No rules? F the papa.
Don't ever say that, huh? You could get in a lot of trouble. So this place has blue water and yellow sunshine. You still can't do bad things. But as long as you don't hurt anybody, you're free to do whatever you like.
Will you still be you? And will we still be we?
You can be anybody you want.
Do we still have to go swimming?
Yes, but you'll be learning in the sea.
Really?
Oh my
Yay!
God. Shh, your parents can't know. Time for bed. Maybe I can go there in my dreams tonight.
You'll bring us, right?
Another one. Another one.
Another one.
Gago to.
Gusto mo picturean ko kayo?
Sige.
Here you go.
Lumalangoy ka?
Yeah, I already said, she's a tomboy. Is she masculine? Or is she Mormon?
Tara, sayaw tayo. Dali.
Kinakabahan ka ba? Relax ka lang.
O, tingnan mo yung friend mo.
Parang nahihiya ka.
Babae ba gusto mo?
Gusto ko yung mga taong natutulungan ako makalimot.
Bakit? Hindi mo ba magawa yun ng sarili mo lang?
Natry mo na ba? Paano ko malilimutan yung buhay ko sa Pilipinas?
To this day, whenever people talk about what they have back home, I ask them their favorite food right away.
Hot bulalo sa ganitong panahon.
Para ngayon?
Pero hindi tulad dito.
Dito, pinapalipas nga nila yung oras eh.
Ayaw mo ba yung mga kaibigan mo? O namimiss mo lang sa inyo?
No. Pinas and locals. None of them live for fireworks.
Ang dami ko kayang nakikitang fireworks sa Central. Natry mo na bang maglakad sa kalsada minsan?
Alam mo yung mga isdang nasa fish tank? Yung sa Chinese restaurant. Di ba, nagbabayad yung mga kumakain doon para makatakas sila. Wala lang. Imaginein mo kung gaano kasaya yung mga isdang nakakatakas.
Ikaw ba yung isda na nakatakas or yung nasa loob ng tangke?
Parang ako yung isda sa TV. Yung kakaiba, makulay. Saka yung mabilis lumangoy, pero nakapos yung TV.
Hindi naman malayo dyan.
Kung lalangoy ka hanggang dun, tapos hindi ka tumigil, saan ka kaya makakarating? Sa Australia?
Pamilya.
Back home, family was non-stop celebrations, and mine was happy. Until they got crashed so fast, it sent them straight to heaven. Living with the aunts and cousins, I wasn't lonely. They took care of me, but the way you do with your good furniture. Every time there was a new baby, I could feel I was different. I smiled through it all, but there's nowhere worse to dance solo than a big Filipino family.
I thought you were asleep.
Sorry, sir.
Curfew was 4 hours ago. This is a family. You don't see what's happening in Hong Kong?
Sorry, sir. I'm going to bed now.
Where did you get those clothes?
My head can only hold on to so much. But my fingers, they still remember wiping the rooms down each morning. Hello? Sometimes, if nobody was home, I would touch their old souvenirs and feel their adventures. In the town of lights, of sounds and sights, I'll catch a flight, sleep well tonight.
What's happened to you?
Oh, nothing, ma'am.
I need you to steam this before I leave the house again.
What time are you leaving?
I don't know. Just do it now.
There were so many fighting to be free. But I wondered, how many of them went home to dinner cooked by someone like me?
Fight for freedom! Stand with the helpers!
Pwede ba kaming makahingi niyan pag nakuha nila?
Kailangan na nating umalis dito. Mga walang utang na loob ang mga tao.
Bakasyon tayo.
Guys, alis na tayo kasi parang parating yung pulis.
No way! Sa atin yung linggo, no? Sila yung umalis.
Bakasyon tayo. Yung malayo dito.
Malayo naman tayo, ah.
Hindi, yung malayo nga dito. Seryoso ako. Yung annual leave natin, pagsabayin natin, tapos alis tayo.
Sige, invite din natin sila.
Anong problema mo sa kanila?
Teka, saan mo ba gusto pumunta?
Basta kahit saan, basta bago. Ayoko lang sayangin yung oras natin dito, no?
Ay, mas gusto ko pang umuwi at makita ang anak ko.
Naku, hindi. Para kay H, yan ang waste of time.
Wasting my life, kamo. Takbo lang tayo kahit saan. Basta ano lang, make memories tayo. Bakasyon.
Hindi mo ba kayang gawin yan dito?
Ayaw niyo ba?
Hindi namin kaya.
Alam niyo, pag di niyo to ginawa, pagsisisihan niyo.
Ay, ako hindi.
Pero di ba manganganak yung amo mo?
Anong ibig mong sabihin?
Ay, gusto mo kasi i-break namin ang contract sa amin.
Ay naku, si Sir tsaka si Ma'am, walang pakialam yan sa kontrata.
Correct! Alam mo yung buhay mo, sayang lang yan, nilipas yan nang wala kang ginagawa.
Pero di mo naman alam kung anong gusto mo talaga, H, di ba?
Lahat ba to galing sa babae na yon?
Hindi!
Punta ka kaya ng Jamaica?
Jamaica, man!
O kaya, Amerika?
Bigil nga kayo.
O kaya, North Pole! Makakakuha na lang kami ng postcard galing sa'yo. Balot na balot ka parang bata.
Kasama pa ang mga penguins.
Wala yung lamig doon ako. Diretso, babalik ka kagad sa Hong Kong.
True! At pagbalik niya, kakailanganin niya ng mainit na kape. At saka tsaa. Kaya, halika na, magpakulo na tayo para sa kanya. Ngayon pa lang.
Ay, nako, grabe. Gutom ka na ba? Mag-Chinese tayo.
Ayoko ng Chinese eh, kasi masyadong slime.
Kaya nga, gusto niya afam.
Chinese food is beautiful. It looks like what it is. And when it's an animal, you can say thank you to its face.
Paano kaya niya tayo mapapansin?
Sabihin mo, Unggoy.
Unggoy! Hello, Unggoy!
Di ba nila napapansin?
Careful ka. Mamaya bigyan ka talaga ng monkey soup niyan, makita mo.
Nagawa mo rin yan sa Bixmoro.
Hindi naman nila napapansin.
Unggoy.
Isa po.
Unggoy! Huy! Unggoy!
Like na.
Do you have fried chicken? Chicken, you know?
Mo.
Ah, he knows speak English lang.
Ano?
How about beef?
How about pork? Pork! Like this.
Yeah, her sister.
Yeah, like me. Oink, oink.
好啊，搞掂啦，係。
Sisters forever.
Which I
Everyone was mesmerized. She was like a famous person. If she walked down the street, people would give way.
Kumakanta ba talaga siya?
Ay nako, ayaw na ayaw niya ng boses niya. Hindi ko pa nga naririnig kumanta yan.
Oh? Matagal na ba kayo magkakilala?
Tagal-tagal na namin magkakilala. Kaso may pagka-weird yan.
So your off time is currently scheduled for the week I'm due? I need you to take it earlier. I would like to have you back in time for... We're really going to need your help.
When?
You know when. How about we move your leave 2 weeks earlier?
I'll check because I might have my...
Actually, how about you take a shorter trip this time so we don't cut it too close? And I'll give you extra days next year.
But I might have some things with my family.
What family?
Of course, I knew she knew that. I just wanted to see if she would do something for me once.
I'm sorry. I just thought you want to be here with us during this time. Do you?
Yes.
I have something I want to show you. Since I'm a bit older, they had to check everything. Samuel didn't want to know, but she's a girl. You're so good with the kids. But somehow you're their favorite thing in the world. They see you as their own. It's like this one will be yours.
So this is how a heart breaks. Silently and delicately, just blown away in the softest breeze.
It must be a sign. Why else would the universe move your off time earlier?
My friends think I'm crazy.
Nobody does anything bold anymore. At least you're trying.
Actually, now I remember. She wasn't really there. She just called me on the phone. I think.
Talaga? Buntis na naman? So, hindi siya good news.
Gusto ko lang tumakas. May nakita akong magazine. Ang daming beach. Hindi ko nga lang mabasa eh. Tsaka, ito may picture ng cave. Siguro sa Thailand to.
Huy, mag-ingat ko sa mga caves.
Ito.
Parang kailangan mo mag-drive dito.
Marunong ka.
Mag-aaral ako. Para siyang building na gawa sa bato, tapos pabilog. Parang temple.
Rome?
Pupunta ako dito.
Mag-stowaway ka?
Aalis ako at pag-holiday ko.
Ayaw mo na ng isa pang bata.
Hindi naman sa ganun.
Alam mo, meron akong kaibigan nag-stowaway sa UK nung dinala siya ng amo niya doon. May cousin daw siya na prinamis na magkatrabaho. So, ayun, bigla na lang siyang nawala, tumakas siya sa amo niya. Akala niya, makakaganti na siya. Pero kinabukasan, may immigration officer na kumatok doon sa pintuan nila. Ayun, kinuha siya pabalik.
Ano nangyari sa kanya?
Hindi ka dapat nagluloko dyan sa mga puting yan. May mga special powers yan.
Pero kasi, alam naman ng mom niya kung nasan siya, di ba? Tsaka, hindi ako stowaway.
Aalis ka at hindi babalik, equals nun, stowaway pa rin.
Well then, I'm a stowaway butterfly. Walang makakaalam saan ako pupunta.
Totoo. Walang may gustong manakit ng butterfly.
Sasamahan mo ba ako?
Minamaltrato ka ba nila? Helpers are not supposed to be too pretty or too smart. You are both.
It wasn't what she said, but the way she made me feel that comes rushing back to me. Guess what? It's a special day today, so I'm going to give you something before ice skating.
What are you gonna give us?
No? You're not allowed.
Can we go to...
No.
Please?
That's not allowed, sir. Ban that.
Uy! Hey! Don't you dare! Hey! Stop right now! Stop! Larry!
Stop following me! Go away!
There's a car! Come back here!
Stop, you idiot! Stop following me!
Nieta!
It's a miracle that boy didn't end up in jail. But secretly, I was grateful he made me run. Like if I just kept running, everything would be okay.
Stop following me? Really? Ano talaga na itong batang to?
Ow! 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 You sound like a maniac.
And now you're playing this game like those raptors, right? Like Jurassic Park? Is that true?
Let's play this one game!
You can't play these violent games anymore. Let's go! Give me that. Give me that. Come on! Minnie, let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on! Come on! Let's go! Here, brother!
You're so annoying.
Wow, you're flying! Are you having fun?
I wonder if I could practice my driving here. Okay, listen ha. Only one round. But it's our secret. Take care of your sister.
Rome?
Yes, sir. You can take the difference out of my salary.
You are taking off time with friends?
Hmm.
You want me to buy you a flight to Rome, and you're going to go all the way there and come all the way back?
Yes.
Won't we need you to be here for the birth? Have you discussed with...
It was Mom's idea, sir. I'm taking the leave early, so I'll be back.
Ah, but you know it's against the contract.
I know, but 2 years ago I wasn't allowed to take my off time, which is also...
It's fine. Just be safe.
Thank you, sir.
H, what did you do with our children 2 Thursdays ago after school?
Thursday? Skating, ma'am.
So you took them from school to skating?
Yes, ma'am.
At 3:30?
Yes,
So why did they call me that they were a full hour late?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You lied.
I...
You lied. Say it.
I lied.
So now the truth. What's happened?
If you took them to video games, you can forget about your fancy trip.
I bring them to the park, sir.
Which park?
Victoria Park.
Why bring them to the park?
I
Don't
just think we can do
lie
something different.
and not tell anyone?
It was just an hour.
So stealing our children is okay if it's quick?
I was not.
So what were you?
I was just...
It's my fault. I ran to the park, and she followed.
Since you decided to let your kids to miss half the class, it will come out of your pay.
Sumusulpot ka na lang ba? Ganda dito. Let's go. Umalis na tayo dito sa lugar na to. Bilis.
Boss mo.
Okay lang yan. May dalawa pa silang katulong.
Ganda. Tumakas na tayo.
Sa Rome?
Lahat gagawin natin.
Kung makarating ka man doon, anong gagawin mo?
Magbabagong buhay tayo. Katrabaho. Babayaran ko yung ticket mo.
Kailangan ko yung paycheck ko dito.
Alam mo, may pera kahit saan.
Meron akong pamilya na kailangan yung sweldo ko.
Mas maganda nga yung trabaho dun eh.
Hindi lang ako ang nabubuhay.
Maniwala ka sa akin.
May anak ako.
Mas maganda yung kinabukasan dun para sa kanya, di ba?
Hindi mo ako naiintindihan.
Eh bakit nga? Hindi nga
Dahil
kami
katulong lang ako.
Di mo dapat hinayaang gawin nila yan sa'yo.
May anak ako.
Hindi dapat ako nandito eh. Pero wala. Bubuhay ako sa buhay ng ibang tao.
Buhay ko.
Anong pangalan niya? Yung anak mo?
Ramon.
Kailan kayo huli nagkita?
19 months ago.
Yan ba yung huling bakasyon mo?
Hindi nga siya makatingin sa mga mata ko eh.
Bakit?
Dahil iiwanan ko na naman siya.
Paano mo nasabi yun?
Umalis ako.
Para bigyan siya ng magandang kinabukasan.
Masyado pa siyang bata para maintindihan yan. Nung una, hindi na ako nagpaalam. Kasi baka umiyak lang siya. Kapag umiyak siya, nahihirapan akong umalis. Kaya, umalis na lang ako.
Tapos akala niya, forever na yun.
Ang tanga ko. Yung kaibigan kong si Chris, naalala mo? Yung anak niyang bunso, hindi na siya maalala pag umuwi siya. Masyado sigurong nasaktan. Kaya, yun. Pinili na lang makalimot.
Pag umuwi ka sa inyo, paano ka nagpapaalam pag babalik ka na ng Hong Kong?
Sinasabi ko sa kanya na sa ngayon lang to.
Hindi siya naniniwala.
Lumalaki na siya. Wala ako sa tabi niya. Sabi ko, Ramon, tumingin ka sa mga mata ko. Na kahit nasan ako, parte ka ng buhay ko. Kapag nadadapa ka sa kalsada, nararamdaman ko yung sakit. Bawat parte mo. Alam mo bang sabi niya sa akin? Mama, when you leave, is it because do you not care? And I told him, I feel dead inside without you. But we need to be patient. If you can be patient for me, I can endure all the pain. I can be so strong. I can be anything for you. Pero, sabi ng mga mata niya, lahat kaya mong gawin, pero wala ka pa rin dito. Dati ako lang ang buhay niya.
Hindi. Paglabas mo pala ng pintuan ng bahay niyo, binigay mo sa kanya yung buong mundo.
Iniwan pa rin siya ng nanay niya.
Mama ka niya kahit anong mangyari.
Hindi yun yung nandyan ka para sa birthday nila, graduation, or special na okasyon. Hindi yun sapat na nanggaling sila sa'yo. Ang pagiging ina, yung nandyan ka parati para sa kanila.
Hindi ko alam.
Hindi mo alam? Kapag nagigising yung mga alaga mo sa gabi, na mataas ang lagnat, sino bumabangon para asikasuin sila, alagaan at patulugin ulit? Kapag iniwan mo sila, magpaalam ka.
Pwedeng magtanong, anong pakiramdam ng mga anak?
Parang nakita mo yung sariling tibok ng puso mo sa unang pagkakataon. Kung ano yung hawak mo, yan yung buong pagkatao mo. Kailan ang alis mo?
November 1.
Huwag na tayo magkita. Kasi, may mararating ka pa.
I wish I asked her to play some goodbye songs. One for me, one for all the little boys and girls awake at night, missing their mamas.
some tea?
Of course.
This helps. How old are you?
26.
When I was your age, I had Minnie, and everything stopped. Sam and I, we used to be best friends. But suddenly, with a new baby, we did everything together in one little room.
You see it at home?
We didn't have you back then. Every minute, within arm's reach of each other. But it just didn't feel like we were spending time together. It felt like an accident.
I'd been telling them I was too afraid of the protest to see them. But it was a bad excuse, because most helpers rather be tear-gassed than stay in their boss place on a Sunday.
Alam mo, never ka ulit makakatrabaho sa Hong Kong. Hindi ka ba natatakot?
Pulag yan. Katulad ng mga batang yan na naka-black at nakadilaw na helmet. Hindi nag-iisip.
Yung mga batang yan, mas may puso pa yan sa'yo.
Wala silang pinaglalaban.
Kesa naman sa atin.
Ganito ang buhay. Yung ginagawa nila, pangangarap. Naghaharang ng walang dahilan.
Hindi. Yung mga taong yan, may pinaglalaban yan.
H, isipin mo na lang pag tinuloy mo yung mga bagay na yan, magiging mag-isa ka.
Kikilos agad ako.
Magiging illegal ka.
Magiging malaya ako.
Na walang papel. Hindi ka makakapunta sa mga ospital pang nagkasakit ka.
May kilala ka ba na makakatulong sa'yo doon?
Sapat ba ang pamasahe mo?
Oo.
Nakuha mo sa ma'am. Magkano?
Akin yun.
Paano mo nakuha?
Inipon ko.
Alam mo, swerte ka na kaya mong mag-ipon.
Maswerte ka dahil may pinapadalan ka.
Paano pag nahuli ka nila? Alam mo ba yung ginagawa nila sa mga stowaway dun sa Europe?
Hindi nga ako stowaway.
Be, kapag umalis ka dito, wala ka nang mababalikan pa.
Pagdating ko doon, hahanapin ko agad yung pinakamagandang beach. Tapos, suotin ko yung red dress ko. Sasayaw ako doon ng mag-isa. Matutuwa ako dahil hindi ko na kayo makikita uli.
Tumadali naman siya eh.
6 years na ako nandito.
24. Kamusta naman ang mabat sir mo? Alam mo, sabihin ko sa'yo. Sa umpisa, empleyado ka lang nila. At talagang mahirap. Pero nangyayari, nare-realize sila na kailangan ka nila. Tapos nagiging pagmamahal din. Last year, sabi sa akin ni Ma'am, Ama, you're so good to my Calvin. Can I register you as an emergency guardian? Magkakasama kami noon, sinayin yung papers. Pinakamasayang araw.
Ama,
sa'yo din to eh. Para sa'yo to. Pumunta ka dito para magtrabaho at magiging pagmamahal din sa iyong lahat. Iniisip mo ba yung 2 alaga na iiwan mo?
Ama, ano bang akala mo? You're part of the family? Ano bang klase ng pagkain yung niluluto mo dyan sa family mo? Chinese food, di ba? Di ba ayaw mo ng Chinese food? Sa 24 years, minsan ba tinanong ka nila kung anong gusto mong lutuin?
Nagluluto ko ng Chinese food para maging masaya sila. Katulad kapag pumupunta tayo ng Chinese restaurant, para maging masaya ka. Ganyan mag-alaga.
Ganyan mag-control. Tsaka, hindi ko kailangan opinion nyo. Nandito ako para magpaalam.
I'm not proud of that. Only later did I realize they must have thought I was so selfish.
Alam nyo, yung pinsan ko pupunta dito. Yung punyetang tatay nun. Inubos yung padala ko sa sugal. Kailangan niya nang itigil yung pag-aaral niya para magtrabaho.
At least, magkasama kayo.
Pero nagpakaalila nga ako dito para makapag-aral siya eh. At di na niya kailangan gawin yung ginagawa ko. Top pa naman siya sa klase. Tignan niyo kung ano nangyari sa buhay natin. So, hayaan niyo na si H para maiba.
So quick, I didn't even see them leave. And I definitely didn't hear a goodbye. I was sure it was the end for Hong Kong. Everyone would soon be leaving, not just me. But I wondered, what would happen to all the kids?
You're packing for your off time already?
Shh. Go back to bed, honey.
This is all you have?
No, I'm just straightening up.
You're a bad liar.
I'm packing because I need to believe it.
When are you coming back?
You guys will have a new friend very soon.
You will come back if I'm not with you. How can I fall asleep again? She's leaving because Hong Kong is dying.
I'm just your helper. Your parents will protect you with their lives.
Not like you would. You won't even tell us where this place is?
It's my only secret. I need to have something just for me. Don't you want that for your age?
Are you going because of us?
Of course not.
We won't complain ever again.
Shh. That's so loud. Listen. Your lives are my life's best part. When I get there, I'll send you a big balikbayan box. There's no weight limit, so I'll pack it very full.
What's that?
A box full of little snacks and presents. It's for the ones who care the most.
Is that why Mom said we were your kids?
Just trust me.
Please stay.
What are you doing there? Are you okay? I already signed them up for the 2 p.m. class. You should have the record. Yes. We pay already. You should have the record. Hey, I need that receipt for the Sunday school. These people are such...
I didn't get a receipt.
You didn't pay?
No, I paid. I just didn't ask for a receipt.
Didn't I tell you to make sure you get a receipt?
I don't think so.
Not this time, but in general. It's okay. It's my fault. Can you fetch my blue capo? I need to have it ordered before this weekend.
Okay. I'll bring it to you later, ma'am.
Can't you get it now?
Oh, no. Ma'am, I was in the middle of tidying up there.
What's going on?
I just sent it to Mr. Song to wash. I will pick it up later.
What were you doing?
I just had a lot of laundry and...
It's silk. You need to hand wash. Don't you know how long I've treasured that?
I thought only the red one is the silk.
Oh, so the others you can just do whatever?
Sorry, ma'am.
Why would you wash it if it's clean?
I was tidying up.
You were meddling.
I was doing my job.
Your job is to ruin my clothes?
I said I'm sorry, right?
I don't care. I need you to follow the rules and then right there on the door. Did you forget how to read?
Do you think you follow the rules all the time? How about if I list all the rules that you break on the contract before you even get out of the bed in the morning? I'll follow the rules next time.
Maybe I need to cancel that flight.
Please don't. I'm not sure if she was really so cruel, or if I just needed her to be.
I will take them with a taxi.
You'll hit traffic. It's faster to take MTR and walk.
You sure?
Trust me. Come on, your food will get cold.
Have a seat.
I have a lot of dishes, sir.
Paige.
You ready for a flight home?
Yes, sir.
You know, maybe next time you can still go to Rome. I've been to Rome once. Or was it Athens?
Do you have to work late tonight? I really don't feel very well.
It should be okay.
I need to lay down. Have a good trip. I'm sorry about your arm.
What's the matter with you guys? You're so quiet today. Your age will be back before you know it. Just 10 days. Don't worry. Text us when you land.
It's okay, guys. You know how to be good when I'm gone. Bye. Bye-bye. At that moment, I wanted nothing more than for that not to be the last time I saw them. Because as they looked back, in the last breath, I looked down.
Philippine Airlines Flight 305 to Rome, with service through Manila, now welcomes our business class passengers to board the aircraft.
Just for once, I wanted to let someone down. Was this a real flight? Where were the people?
Flight 305 boarding groups H. Only groups H. Boarding now.
Punta ka kaya ng Jamaica?
North Pole!
America.
Kung makarating ka man doon, anong gagawin mo?
Alam mo ba yung ginagawa nila sa mga stowaway dun sa'yo.
Hindi nga ako stowaway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final boarding call for Flight 305. All groups boarding.
Yes?
Flight 305. The gate is closing in 5 minutes.
Wait, North Point, Kings Road.
North Point has roadblock. You have to walk there. Be careful.
It's okay, H. Just go with the kids. Downstairs.
Hey, how do you get here? You're supposed to be on the plane. What's happened to your flight? Did the doctors come? Mom and Dad were so scared. Are you okay?
Why are you down here?
They were screaming. They didn't think the ambulance could get here. They said we couldn't go to the hospital. What's going on? Is the baby dead?
Nothing like that. It's all okay. She just came a little early.
It's a girl.
Yes.
Is it bad luck that she came early?
No.
Then why did it happen so suddenly?
Because she couldn't wait to meet you.
Did you hold her?
No. But I told her that you two are really good kids.
Let's go see her.
You will soon. Don't worry. You'll get to do everything with her.
I don't want to stay here anymore.
Close your eyes. You're safe here. Close your eyes. You're going to go to school with her every morning, holding hands with each other.
I'm scared, H.
You have to be brave. You have to teach her what's right and what's wrong. And you have to protect her. You're gonna make so many friends. Some will grow next to you and some will grow apart. And maybe one of them can do magic on you. And you can travel the world with that person. But if that person tramples over your little hearts, you'll have to be there to stand up for each other.
I don't want my heart to hurt.
It's part of life. You will heal and you will do it over and over again until you find a person whose hands will fit perfect in yours.
Will we have kids?
One day.
Yes, you will just wake up and then you realize it's time to become mamas and papas yourselves. And then your kids, they will grow up and then they will have their own love stories. They will have their own kids and you'll become grandmas and grandpas. And you can show me the photos. You'll have so many memories together. Starting now. The day you guys met your baby sister.
And the day you came back. Mommy! Mom!
Say hello to your sister.
Hi, baby.
My angels.
What's her name?
Camila.
Camila?
Camila.
Camila. Camila.
Would you like to hold her?
Camila, what do you remember? Were you listening? Did you feel warm in my touch? I've told you all my memory.
But there was more. The moments in between, the ones you didn't hold on to. Your life wasn't only what you remember. You gave up your dreams for me.
When I came back, you saved me.
You raised me. And all these years, you kept the pain to yourself. So why are you telling me now?
The first time I took you into my arms, I made you a promise.
You're leaving again.
It's my time now. I still dream.
Do you regret me?
No. Will you forgive me?
Yes.
called the Remedy Project, based in Hong Kong. So I'm a lawyer. I've lived in Hong Kong for the last 6 years. And our organization focuses mostly on the protection of the rights of migrant workers in supply chains in Southeast Asia.
Thank you, Nawin.
I'm Punsap Tulapan. I work with HomeNet Thailand. HomeNet Thailand also try to organize the women migrants workers. We have a network of domestic workers in Thailand, but both Thai and migrants, there are about 600 members, and half of them are migrants from Myanmar.
Thank you. So, if you have any question, otherwise I have a few questions for them. But I want first to check if any of you would like to ask anything to Stefano or to Nawin. One.
Thank you. My name is Dewi. I'm from Bangkok. I'm from Rapid Asia. Actually, first, congratulations for your movie. It's very good. But I think at the end I feel a bit bored. In the beginning it was fun, with the dance and everything, with the story. But I still not get what actually she's looking for. And yeah, 1.5 hour make me at the end, but in the beginning was good with the protesting and everything, so you can get, okay, that's about rights and things. And I want to ask you about the idea of how you get that. And then I was thinking, is it the real migrant worker in Hong Kong like that? Because what I read in about the story of the migrant workers, that is not quite like that. But yeah, of course they are varies. But I just want to know, how did you get that idea? And then who are this the actors, and how did you find them? Thank you.
Great question. So the idea, I think, I told you earlier, I was very inspired by seeing them dancing on Sundays. And I did research and I spoke to them and I Googled things and I watched documentaries. And maybe Nawin can talk more about this, but I think there's a very one-dimensional view of these women in the media. It's always, everything is always about numbers and figures, and it sort of reduces them into a problem that is to be solved, which is not, it's kind of an unavoidable consequence of trying to solve problems. And so I don't think that's bad in and of itself, but I was more interested in showing that despite their difficult lives, these women are already, they already have so much to teach us, and me in particular, people who didn't know that they even existed. And I wanted to celebrate them without ignoring the well-documented struggles and abuses they face. But I also wanted to make something that I felt that the women I had met would be proud of. And they were very suspicious in the beginning because they've been approached by so many journalists who just wanted to, sort of paint their story with the broadest strokes and not really drill down into the humanity of their conflict of motherhood, leaving behind their own children to mother the children of another woman. I was more interested in that stuff because I thought that hadn't been shown. Also, I wanted to make something visually colorful. I thought no one has done that. No one has captured the spirit of the dancing, which to me contains all the happiness, all the joy, but also all the regret. The regret and the heartbreak in one moment. So that was the idea. And then obviously we originally intended to cast active domestic workers. The problem, as you can probably tell us more about now, is that you can't really hire them outside of their employment contracts in Hong Kong. It's illegal, I believe. And so even if we had been able to take a certain amount of their time. We shot for 25 days. None of the active domestic workers could have given us that amount of time. But even if we had that amount of time, it would have been illegal and they would have been risking their employments, which would not be okay for us, of course. But Hong Kong has a massive pool of Filipino talent outside of the domestic worker community. Nobody knows that that is the case, but it is very much the case. And they are mothers, sisters, daughters, cousins of former, current domestic workers in Hong Kong and abroad. Everyone, they go to church together. Everyone has an in to that community. And my actors, while the main actors are not active domestic workers, they have been raised in that community for their whole lives. And so I feel that they were able to do it as authentically as possible, I hope.
So you just mentioned about about the reality of domestic workers in Hong Kong. So I wanted to ask now more what you encounter with your organization working with domestic workers in Hong Kong, and especially what happened during COVID times.
Sure. And also Nurul is here as well, who also used to live in Hong Kong, so I'm going to call on you afterwards to supplement what I have to say. But no, I think it's interesting because I just want to start by a comment on the film, but the locations where the film is mostly shot in Central and Repulse Bay, other parts of Hong Kong, these are the most expensive, wealthy neighborhoods in Hong Kong, which on Sundays, on the domestic workers' day off, is where many domestic workers congregate. And, one of the first, when you first arrive in Hong Kong, one of the biggest contrasts you see when you arrive there is in the financial capital of the world. Hundreds and hundreds of women sitting on cardboard boxes in the walkways outside extremely glitzy shopping malls, and you cannot get a more on-the-nose symbol of the inequalities in that society, and the foundational the foundation that it's built on is domestic work, and these women that enable everyone else in Hong Kong to be able to go out and live this well-off lifestyle is built on the back of domestic workers. And so I did think it was interesting that you did shoot in those locations. And the other thing I would add is, I thought some of the scenes were almost Bollywood-like in the shooting of them, but you do get, perhaps not as well choreographed, but certainly on the scale, outdoor dance sessions like this, and in the piers, on the walkways, on the streets, and the contrast that you bring between H's home life and her personal life, and just how much more colorful and alive she is outside the home, whereas within the home she has no autonomy and no personality and no self, I think again really captures the fact that within society in Hong Kong, domestic workers are not perceived as having agency or autonomy or personality outside of their role in the home. So I thought you captured that very well. Sorry, I will answer your actual question. And I think a lot of the challenges that you highlighted in the film were exacerbated a lot during the last year with COVID. We saw with lockdowns, employers not letting domestic workers leave the home for fear of bringing the virus back home, while the employer and their family continued to go outside. Domestic workers not being given their day off, or having changed days off so they wouldn't congregate with others. So they would get their day off, but it would be on a Wednesday or a Saturday when other domestic workers were not out, which again increased that sense of isolation. You had a lot of domestic workers who were fired for contracting COVID, actually, and then were kicked out of the home. And because they are required by law to live in the employer's home, there is no isolation or quarantine facility for them. There is nowhere they can go legally to stay. There are boarding houses for domestic workers, but they're not legal. So it was a very, very difficult time. And we did see some organizations actually set up shelters that were run by other domestic workers that served as quarantine centers. But yeah, it was extremely difficult. And I think all the challenges were compounded. Nurul, I might ask you if you had anything to add.
I have a question actually, but yes, congratulations. It is very good. I agree with you that you have picked up the very good angle that
where not so many documentary film about migrant domestic workers in Hong Kong, especially, are capturing this kind of, story of humanity, the connection between domestic workers with the families, especially with the children, with the baby, and responsibility. Like this is part of, their life, and they have that responsibility, they obligate to do that, and kind of that. That was like actually dramatic, and it's really like happening toward quite numbers of migrant domestic workers in Hong Kong. I live in Hong Kong actually 11 years in total. So, however, there are some situation in this film that I'm become curious to ask you whether this is real story or this is made film and kind of that, because in some of the conversation, for example, when the domestic workers raising tone to the employer, debating over something, I seen happening between the ladies, the mom and the worker. I kind of barely see that happen, especially among Indonesian domestic workers, which is also half population of migrant domestic workers in Hong Kong. And then among Filipinos, maybe there are, but I'm not certain if there are quite this kind of conversation might be happen where domestic workers also freely to raise tone or responding to the employer, oh, you don't ask me to get receipt or something like that. So this is something that I wanted to know whether those are based on your research among this migrant domestic workers community in Hong Kong, that they can also say that to the employer or using tones back to respond to the employer and kind of that. So I wanted to learn about it, And also, another part is that, so she is not actually domestic workers, yeah? That's what you just clarified. No, okay, right. Yeah. Some part of the things that I really love in this movie is also that you capturing about the demonstration in Hong Kong. That was really scary. That was really like impacting a lot of the migrant domestic workers, because many of them ended up not given a day off because of the demonstration, because of the situation in Hong Kong back then. And yet to mention, with the COVID impact, many of the domestic workers were actually being fired because the employer lose the job. For example, those middle income below there, they cannot afford to anymore pay domestic workers, and we just let them go. And in this context, that are not being captured, but I can understand because you probably want to look at different angle. But if that can be included, how these demonstrations also somehow impacting the economy of Hong Kong, and then COVID beaten them up again, and this impacting to loss of employment of the employers, that also as a domino effect also impacting to the migrant domestic workers employment too, and they are sent back home and hard to come back, or those who are actually already in the back in the origin country for leave or so on, they never can come back because of the a border closed and so on and kind of that. So that was not there, but I like when you actually picking up the demonstration. I'm about to cry when I see that because I can feel it, But I was partially there when the demonstration had just started. Thank you.
So about the protests I think Nawin said something interesting, which is that it really is, Hong Kong is built on the backs of these women. Hong Kong is a city lauded for the population of working mothers. Those working mothers can only work because there's other working mothers at home. And whenever anything happens, the first population to bear the brunt tends to be this population. So whether it's COVID or the protest or people losing their jobs, not being able to afford domestic help anymore, these women, they feel it first. They get deported. They have no path to permanent residency, despite some of them living most of their lives, decades really. So I wish I included that, to be honest. There's many things that we learned through the process, or even things we knew about in the beginning that just didn't make it in for time. Personal stories I had heard, abuses, violence, terrible things, people sleeping in lifts, people not having enough food. And I wanted to touch on it, but as a filmmaker, I also have to be loyal to the progression of the narrative and all that stuff. But, I think there needs to be a million more of these films and documentaries and narratives and everything in between. The protest was interesting because, number one, you couldn't, as you experienced and as I did as well, you could not frame it out. When the protest was occurring in Hong Kong, it was everywhere. And so we're shooting and, there's Free Hong Kong written giant in the background. We can't, there's like people walking around marching. There was no way to frame it out. And so we had to sort of lean in. We didn't have money to close streets or anything like that. But I also thought that it was interesting the way that you've got hundreds and thousands of people on the street dressed in black, demanding freedom, democracy, suffrage. And then you've also on Sundays got hundreds of thousands of domestic workers who are generally, in my view, what I experienced was they were not that, it wasn't that clear if if they leaned either direction, pro-protest or pro-government. The feeling that I got was that they were more concerned with just enjoying their Sunday because what's coming on Monday is not easy and maybe, some of those women are being abused. If you're being abused, you're not thinking about your right to vote. You're thinking about how you're going to survive the week. That to me was interesting, how there's levels of freedom. Does that answer your question, I guess? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't understand what
There's a conversation between the female employer and the worker. And in the way that you're making it there, sounds like the domestic workers responding also using the tones, like increasing the voice, like, and kind of that. Yeah. So whether this is something real based on your research or you just making it for the sake of different reason.
Super interesting because so there's a few scenes that she raises her tone, but it's in her head maybe. But then there's some scenes where she does raise her voice back. She answers back. She says like, I wasn't stealing your kids. I was just taking them to the park. It was just for 1 hour. She does fight back. I have heard of that. I've heard of that ending poorly for women. But that gets to a deeper issue, which is how to portray the ma'am character. Because whenever I show this in Hong Kong, the female middle-aged Hong Kong viewers always get into arguments over whether I've made them all look horrible or if I've been too soft on them. Some people have said, I have a domestic worker. I don't treat her like that. Why would you, we're not all so rude. And then others have said, this is light stuff. It's just kind of like a little bit of argument. I have friends who beat their domestic worker. Why didn't you show that? And so it's a careful balance. I want it to be fair, but I also wanted to show that even if this is some sort of average, which is what we were going for, I was much more interested in H and her struggle against not just her ma'am, but her whole circumstance, right? It's not just about one woman, and if that woman is nice to you, your life is fine, right? There's structural issues, like she's away from her own family. H obviously not, but all her friends. I have heard things like that though, but definitely I agree with you. It's not the norm for a domestic worker to sort of clap back so often. You're right about that.
I would like to hear more. Thailand has a big population of domestic workers, especially from Myanmar and also from the Philippines and Cambodia. How is the situation in Thailand, and especially during COVID? Did you find something similar? Well, how is it different in Thailand?
I learned a lot, and I see that very good film. And even me, I disappointed at the end because if I were her, I will escape because people will have dreams and hope, but she came back, and I'm thinking why she came back, because her responsibility and relationship with the family, even though you said that the employer shouted at her and treated her like that, but she went back, she go back. So this is domestic workers, you sometimes because we are not domestic worker, we can understand them, even though they migrate to our countries or to other country, and they come to work, so they want to work, and if we understand and we treat them well, I think that this is a good relationship. And the other thing, I think that this film teach us a lot in terms of one thing is in terms of integration between local and migrant. This is a big issue because you look down to migrant workers, and so you treat them differently. So the issue in terms of education is a big issue in Thailand. We still look down to migrant workers even though they contribute to our country. And the other thing is in terms of one day off, it is really important. But in Thailand, we have a law that allow them to have 1 day off. But normally, employers will say that they don't know about this law, and they still have no 1 day off. This is very important. If you see this on Sunday, they release and they be themselves. So this is very important, and I like to warning to the employer that if you give them 1 day off, this is very important. And the other thing I saw that it's almost the same in Thailand. We have some community like in Suan Luang Park. If you heard about this, they will went to that park, and the park become migrant workers park because on Sunday they came together and feel enjoy together. So I think that this is really important that from this film, really I will show with my member and ask them about their feelings on this. But for us, I think I learned a lot, and I see a lot that we need to treat them. We need to understand them because they are migrants.
I'm taking, oh, dang it. I've had this bike. I've been trying so hard. Okay. So, I loved the film, and I felt very much at the end, I was certainly not bored. I, was definitely like, you could just feel the way she was being pulled and all the different things, and then like towards the end or at the very end, that scene in the sea, I was like trying to keep it together a little bit because you could really feel her, like her disappointment and her, and just anyway, I'm getting a little upset thinking about it. Really touched. Anyway, fantastic. But so my question is, and if you answered in this beginning, I'm sorry, I got stuck at immigration, so I was late. But why the stills? If you already answered that, you can ignore. And also, I noticed in the end, all of a sudden things were moving again, but I had no clue when that started happening because I was so into it emotionally. And I was like, when did this become real time? So can you explain what prompted the stills and then why the movement later? And then more technical question for probably Nolan and Pipumsap. So they were saying when they were together that if she had left and was in breach of her contract, she could never come back to Hong Kong. And I'm curious about the law there. And it seems very problematic. And I'm also wondering if that's a law in Thailand as well. So, okay, those are all my questions. Hold on.
This mic always turns off. Great question. No one's asked it yet about the stills. So, there's a few reasons. I would say the main one is that when we were talking to dancers and women in the beginning, I got this sense, just as an outside observer, I got the sense that they live dual lives between Sunday and the rest of the week. Sunday, they can be themselves. Sunday is what they would want you to see about them. It's when they can dress the way they want. They can do their hair. They can dance. They can, give massages. They can sell things. They can do anything they really want. I mean, within limitations. And then they have to just 6 days a week go right into being someone else under total control by someone else. And I wanted to find a visual way to show what it might feel like after 6 days of living a very restricted life to let it all out, and especially through dance. And what we settled on was physically freezing the actors in a photograph. And, you know, we all are so used to moving images. We're bombarded with media that it's uncomfortable, and it's meant to be so. And for some, it's too uncomfortable. We've had people walk out of theaters, and then for others, it brings you into a sort of trance, and it kind of, once you buy into it, once you accept its challenge, hopefully you might feel that sense of stagnation, that sense of, oh, I just want things to get moving. And then, of course, when they dance, it turns into this motion that feels very freeing, is what we were going for. And in the end, I'm actually really glad you said that you didn't know where that happened, because we were trying to hide that. But, you know, to end it in normal cinema, full motion, was, I guess, our way of showing that she's come to some sort of realization. But also just, I think by that point, viewers, you've earned that. You know, you've earned a normal movie ending, I guess, in that way. You know, it's challenging for sure, but we, you know, we're not competing. We can't compete against big films. We're a tiny film, so we had to do something also that would get us attention. And the only safe thing is to take a risk as a first-time filmmaker. So I can't lie, it was also a calculation on how are we just going to get talked about so that people can actually go and see it. In the beginning, many people said it was a terrible idea, but then something very interesting happens, which is that if you start from a terrible idea, no one else will, you know, if you somehow get to somewhere good from there, you'll be the only people in that space. And no one else has done something like this. And it's sort of snowballed where a few influential people have said, oh, that's really cool. I actually really like that. And then other people are like, yep, you know, from the beginning, I told Stefanos it was a great idea. People who, were saying this will never work. What are you doing? You're crazy. So I hope that it's been greater than the sum of its parts. I hope that it's helped the story, because obviously that's what I'm most interested in. This is just the medium, but the story is the reason we did this.
On the less exciting question, I think so. It's interesting because there's the coercive element of the family dynamic already, right? Having to live in someone else's home, under the control of another person. So that level of dependency already exists before you even get into, the immigration and legal framework. But at least in Hong Kong, the legal framework actually does prevent people from changing jobs and from leaving jobs very readily. So, for example, the immigration department has this anti-job hopping policy, which ostensibly penalizes domestic workers if they change employers within 2 years. And obviously there may be many reasons why you need to change an employer, but generally within 2 years, it's very difficult to change employer if you're within that 2-year period. If you are in breach of your conditions of stay, so as Stefanos mentioned, taking a job to work in a movie, so side employment, living outside of your employer's home, anything like that, then you will be, your visa will be canceled, you'll be deported, you won't get another visa. Sometimes you have situations where domestic workers are made to do things that are outside the terms of their contract by the employer. So, for example, using them as a driver or employing them in restaurants or in massage parlors. Now, that is a breach of their visa conditions. They haven't consented to doing this because the employer has told them to do this. But if they report this, they are now in breach of their conditions of stay, terminated, deported, won't come back to Hong Kong. And that was really troublesome because of, during COVID when flights were restricted, if you were out, you couldn't come back. And because of the need for families to earn remittances, this created, again, a lot of disincentives, a lot of barriers to people leaving their jobs, right? So when you say, oh, if you don't like your employer, just leave or change your job, there's a huge amount of risk involved in that. If you terminate, if I quit my job in Hong Kong, I can stay until the end of my visa, even if I've quit my job. The domestic worker quits their job, they have 2 weeks to find a new job, or they have to leave, right? Which again creates that sort of desperation to find another employer very quickly, and creates a very strong disincentive to leave a job, even if it's not, very favorable. But I don't know what the Thai employment framework is like.
Also, you can change the employer, but you have to have days, like maybe 10 days, then you have to find new employer. Okay, but many of the migrant domestic workers, especially Myanmar, when they came to Thailand, they once have registered as a domestic workers. Many of them register as contract worker, construction workers and other workers, not domestic workers, because to work with construction worker, you have agents, and your employer is different, and you can contact with your employers, and then you can change your job or you can do anything because it's not the real employer, but through agency. If you want to stay longer, you have to know the way.
Hello. Thank you so much for the film. I thought it's brilliant. It's really emotional, and I love all the nuances and the tension. So I noticed, for example, like you try to portray the relationship between she and her employer, like in this kind of a love and hate. So there's like difficult situation, but there's also like the employer being very soft and being like treating her as a girlfriend. Like those are like really, I think is really nuanced. I also really like the part that, she was trying so much to run away, but at the same time also really miss the kids, like really trying to, like she was not sure if she want to jump on the fly, and in the end, holding the baby still make her stay. Like those are like a really, I think really true and really kind of a nuanced. Also I kind of really like the presentation as well, because those kind of stalls, like it just feels like it's a children book, a little bit like, kind of easy to follow and kind of quite accessible, quite colorful, a little bit like romanticized what's happening. So it's quite nice. One question, like I'm also quite like, sorry about my ignorance, but I don't really understand her background, because she's kind of like from a family that she cannot go back to, but I was not very sure why is that the setting. I think it's referring to some kind of an event, but I'm not very sure about that. So if you can, talk about that, it would be great. Also, I'm from Taiwan, and in Taiwan we have lots of migrant domestic workers as well, and a lot are from like Indonesia and Philippines. So I also think this will be really quite powerful if you can, show in other places. And also I think many Taiwanese people will be really enjoy watching this. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. I forgot what your question was about. Oh, yeah. So that's interesting. I don't know how many people caught it, but H, the character, has no family, no immediate family. And I wanted to show, that's fictional, we wrote that. As has been mentioned, remittances are a huge factor for these women. They send almost everything home. If they didn't, I often wondered, what would they spend their money on? What would their purpose be if they were not supporting a family back home? H doesn't send her remittances home. She saves it up. She buys her flight ticket. That was interesting because the money is one thing, but also just the daily routine. I mean, how many people in this room work 6 days a week, every week for years, and don't really get holidays? And that last day, you say like they need 1 day off. I'm thinking like 1 day off every week for years is exhausting, I imagine. So that daily routine and having to live with your boss, I could never want to live with my boss, even if I've had a great boss. I would never want to live in the same, like clean their bathroom and live with them. So what would you start to yearn for when your life becomes so monotonous? And in her case, it's not terrible, right? There's no indication that she's being severely abused, but still there is that yearning, there is that dreaming that I heard a lot about. And that's the humanity of it too, because I think people, they just boil these women down to what they do for the economy, right? Everyone's like, you're a domestic worker, you help the economy. but they never ask, what are your hobbies, right? And now in Hong Kong, there's a sort of wave of talented artistic domestic workers that are sort of standing up and saying, we're not just domestic workers, we're photographers, we're painters, we're poets, and we want more. And we're not happy with this life, even though many of us are providing for our families back home, and even supporting neighbors and building homes and sending our kids to school. But it might not be enough for us, and I thought that was beautiful for these characters to sort of take their own agency and say, I want to go to Rome, and she doesn't go. It's sort of this like fluffy dream that's not really, she never really says exactly why Rome, and she doesn't really have a plan for what she's going to do, but it's just about saying, I want to do something for me. I want to give myself something instead of giving everything to everyone else all of the time. Yeah.
Sorry. I got that.
In terms, I really appreciate your film. I really like it. And that this story, her story is far better than many of the others, because many of the domestic workers who take care of the children, I found that they take care of other children. And in this case, she have no children at home. If she had a children at home, you can guess how her feel. It's very sad inside, because we found out about this, and they talk with us. This is very important because they take care of others, but no one take care of her children and even take care of her. This is really important that if we have a domestic worker, we have to think about this.
Thank you. Thank you, and I think, sorry, now it's getting a bit late. I want to thank all of you for being with us and these comments. And I have few more questions, but I think we'll have another chance tomorrow morning to watch again. We will stream this movie online again tomorrow morning, and we also meet with the actresses. I have a question about the empty airport of Hong Kong. Okay, and I felt all this fake and real, what is fake, what is real, and this feeling that it's never clear. Also, if love, it's real love, it's fake, and this struggle never to find a clear answer. And we can discuss more later. So thank you very much, and thank you to Leah for hosting us, and I leave the microphone to her.
Oh, yes, it's here. You are fine. Sorry. I think that she goes to Rome is not so strange for a Filipino, right? Because actually a lot of Filipino migrate to Rome also because of the Catholic. But this, I am making it up. I also have a lot of questions, but there is no time to ask. So just two announcements for next event. Actually on the 10th, we have an Indonesian book by an Indonesian writer about Indonesian in the colonial time being brought to South Africa and what it means to be far away from your country. So that is highly recommended. And the commentator will be Shane Bunak, who is also quite famous director in Thailand. And for those interested in painting, on Sunday you can have a workshop with Erica, the artist that you see outside. And so please feel free to join at 1:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. So as you see, we have all kinds of programs on different topics. So continue to follow SEA-Junction, and on your way out, please give a donation to support our work. Thank you very much. And thank you again, Sarah, for partnering with us on this. Thank you. We forgot also you can have coffee, tea, and some food and continue the discussion on your right side, please.